Hey guys, today I wanted to do a video about Quake, another champion meta video, because I think Quake is probably one of the best champions in the game. I consider her either like in the top tier along with like Ghost Rider and them. She's got so many great uses. And another reason I wanted to continue on with this sort of style of champion is, well, she's pretty unique, but she's great with suicides, and I'm going to show that she's not only good with suicides, but I think she's better with suicides than without suicides. So let's just go over her abilities real quick. Her signature ability is not super useful. She just blocks some additional damage, but there's some interesting mechanics with the redirecting. So she does redirect some of that damage, including projectiles. The main thing about Quake, is most people know, is her heavy attack. When she charges it, she inflicts a concussion on the enemy, and it used to be invisible, but now you can see the concussion. And what that does is reduce their ability accuracy by 100%, which stops so many abilities. This is all abilities, offensive and defensive. And as well, she evades any enemies that are under a concussion. So when you're charging your heavy, you evade any light attacks or medium attacks or heavy attacks, but no special attacks. She also generates an earthquake, which adds to this aftershock scale, which is something we'll talk about in a bit as well. The aftershock does a certain amount of physical damage after it hits, depending on how many stacks in the aftershock scale there are, and this is affected by suicide masteries. This is a significant improvement when you do have suicide masteries on, which leads me to believe that any attack synergies, any masteries that affect attack, those increase the amount of damage that you get from Quake. When she's charging her heavy, she actually does damage per second as well, to 152 it says, but I actually get more than that with the suicide masteries on. When the aftershock runs out, she does inflict a longer concussion for 5 seconds, which is really nice. She also stuns if they're susceptible to stuns. Her special 1 adds 2 points to the aftershock scale. Not very good. Her special attack 2 adds 3 points to the aftershock scale. Does inflict a concussion though, so if you're in a pinch, you can use that for a concussion. But her special 3 is much better. It adds 6 points to the aftershock scale. It stuns for 3 seconds, and it pushes the enemy back by a huge amount. So any champions that rely on their special 3 a lot, I consider decent candidates for suicide masteries. You know, even though Quake isn't immune to any of the effects of suicide masteries, she does rely on that special 3, and what that means is basically she's going to be taking a lot less recoil damage because you're going to be using the special 3 more than her other abilities. Her synergies aren't great. I'm not a big fan of them, but she does have this nice one with Black Widow and Hawkeye, which increases ability accuracy. This can actually increase the chances of a stun if you have not very many aftershocks in the scale. You know, it can also help with other champions' abilities in your team, so that's kind of nice. But except for the shield clearance level 10 one only affects Black Widow and Quake, but potency is kind of nice as well. So that'll increase like some people think the potency of Black Widow's signature ability. That's kind of up for debate. We don't really know for sure. But anyway, we're going to dive into some of the other stuff with Quake. I've got a little bit of example footage, and I'll be talking over that and explaining like what's the ins and outs of her. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to show was Quake redirecting some block damage back towards the enemy. Even projectiles work, so anytime she blocks damage, it's going to be doing some sort of damage to them, and it's based on how much they do to you. The other thing I want everyone to be aware of is that abilities that counter evasion also counter Quake's evasion. So Iceman coming in, he's got the cold snap on me. I'm not going to be able to evade using my typical method. This works for True Strike as well. So Magic's concussion prevents all abilities. You can see in the first time when I used my heavy, the concussion came off of Magic and she actually went into limbo, but then through the first bar of power. So that's because concussion's off, but then concussion hits again, and actually I'm pushing her to her second bar of power and no limbo procs. And that's because concussion is preventing it. So that's a good thing. Moving on, we're getting to, actually you can see there, I prevented her limbo during her special attack because I put the concussion on. So you can see the limbo came up, but then it was prevented. It also prevents stuff like Hyperion's power gain. You can see he's not gaining any power. Where's his cosmic charge? And as soon as I drop my heavy attack, he gained a power. So that just shows you that, you know, it was preventing it before. This is something I saw, like Seaton did a video champion of the day with Quake, and he had 12 aftershocks on, and with this Morning Star. So I decided to duel the same person and show sort of the damage comparison, because Seaton doesn't run Suicide Masteries, but I do. So he ended up getting 2,449 damage per tick on the aftershock, which is really good. That's a buff since the old version of Quake. They tweaked her ability so that it's working as intended. But you can see I just got hit there, but I was getting 12 aftershocks, and I'm ticking for 3,342 per hit, which is about 1.5 times the damage. So that's really nice. That's definitely useful and a significant improvement on the damage of Quake. So now I wanted to get into what I think are like the 3 levels of Quake playstyle. The first one is when you're first learning how to use Quake, you want to do a heavy, evade, and then continue on with your heavy. So this keeps you with a lot of distance between you and your opponent. You can charge up your heavy, you can use the heavy attack to generate some distance. So I'm just going to show this clip just one more time. And he's going to come in, I'm going to charge my heavy, I'm evading automatically, and then I'm evading again manually. Evade automatically, evade manually. So I'm just keeping my distance, generating those aftershocks, and I want to get that nice long stun with a nice concussion on him. So the second level is level 2. And level 2 is evade, parry, heavy. So charge your heavy, evade, parry, heavy. So what you're doing is you're timing it. There's like a very specific rhythm that the AI follows in MCOC, and so it's sort of, you can see it here. It's like sort of hit, pause, and then hit again. So you have to be ready to parry right at that second hit, and it's not immediately. So if you just hold block, you're just gonna block it, but if you wait just a millisecond, you've got that parry. So I'm just gonna show this again. It's swing, parry, and then he comes in, swing, wait, parry. So it's a very slight delay that you're seeing there, but it is important to have that very slight delay, and with practice you can get this, and that's why this is level 2. But moving on to the next level is going to be what I consider probably the ultimate way to play Quake. It works even against stun immune people, and it's basically doing whatever you want, but it's heavy, evade, heavy, and usually you're against the wall because you are trying not to hit them at all. So there's using that rhythm of parry. Rather than hitting the screen for a parry, you're going to be swiping back again. So we're going to show this again. This is me charging a heavy, auto evade, regular evade, charge a heavy again, auto evade, regular evade, charge the heavy again. So the concussion is going off and on him. You can see it flickering up there at the top of the screen. So this is just another example of up against the wall. Now this works really great for stun immune characters. If you're playing Quake in Alliance War or even in questing, you can avoid getting hit. The other thing I want to show is that Quake is like an intercepting god. You can intercept with special attacks because she auto evades. You can intercept with light and medium attacks, and she's really strong with that. Here we go, we're going to intercept with a light attack up against the wall, and you can see I just auto evade, and then I regular evade, and then I decide, okay, look, I can do a light attack because he's continuing his combo, but I can intercept that combo with a light attack. You can also intercept with a medium attack like I did right there. If you see him throw his second medium, which is that kick, which you're going to see here, he's going to come in, I'm auto evading, a regular evade, he throws the kick, and now since I know that's his second medium, I can intercept with my own medium and start a 5-hit combo. And that's pretty much it for Quake. She is the god of evading, of parrying, of stunning, of the concussion. She's just such a great champion. She prevents so many abilities, and she's a great Alliance War attacker. She's a great quester, and I think she's a really good champion for a first 550 or first 565. Whatever you guys feel like. But I hope you guys enjoyed the Quake meta. If you have any questions about Quake, let me know. I've played her more than almost any other character in my roster. Ghost Rider's starting to catch up to her because he's just that good as well. But yeah, I've got a lot of experience with Quake, and she's been so useful for me. One of my best rank ups. Okay, so the last thing we got here is a no-hitter from Quake. I took her into Road to Labyrinth against the Spiked Armor Kamala. So with Spiked Armor, it does damage to you if you hit them and you get a crit. So the idea is, okay, let's see if we can kill Kamala without hitting her at all. Even though concussion would prevent the Spiked Armor from working, I just wanted to show, you know, all of the little tricks that went over in this video, in one video, in just one short clip of killing someone without actually hitting them, because that's Quake's specialty. She's one of the only champs that can do that. And this is a lot of health. I think this is like 100,000 hit point Kamala. So it's me just up against the wall trying to implement the parry and trying to implement some evades, you know, depending on how I feel on each one, because if you're feeling safe, you might go for a couple more extra evades. If you're not feeling too safe, you might just do a parry. But you can see here that Quake is she's just a monster for up against the wall. She's most comfortable up against the wall. So they hit nothing but air when they go for her. But anyway, guys, this has been Quake meta, champion meta, whatever we want to call it, the most effective tactic available. That's what I wanted to showcase for Quake, I think. And I really hope you enjoyed the video. It was a lot of editing went into that one. Not too much, but it was maybe a little choppy, so I'll try and keep them a little smoother in the future. But thanks for watching. Hope you guys had a good day, and take care.